Hi everyone, this is Pete here. So today I want to talk about this, and this is the King's Speech. I don't know how many of you have actually watched this movie. This is a great movie. It talks about how the king stutters and he talks. By the way, this is not a movie review. Alright, I'm just kidding you guys. I'm not going to talk about the King's Speech, the movie, but I want to talk about another speech that was given recently by the Singapore Prime Minister, right? And you probably saw this on YouTube. It was telecast everywhere in Singapore. For those of you overseas, let me proudly introduce, this is our Prime Minister, Mr. Lee Hsien Loong. And I think he and his team has done a very good job in navigating this whole COVID crisis and bring us through. And this is actually one of the many messages that he and his cabinet team is going to talk about, right? And I just want to use this as an opportunity to share with you guys what are my observations as an investor and how you can navigate through this COVID crisis successfully, all right? So this is not the King's speech, but these are my key focus on the Prime Minister's speech. Okay, so the first thing is, why is this speech good? Because I really like this speech because he starts off with something that I've been hoping for governments to say, all right? And it's this, okay? He talks about, the COVID will remain a problem for a long time yet, all right, at least a year. Now, straight up, you'll be asking me, Pete, why is that a good thing? Are you mad? Okay? And don't get me wrong, let me get into it, right? So he says it's going to be a year or even longer before there's a vaccine. Okay? But the key thing is this. He talks about we have to learn to live with COVID for the long term. Okay? Alright? We have to live with COVID for the long term, just like we have done in the past with other kind of diseases. So what does this mean? This is very good. This means that the government is no longer adopting the practice of containment at all costs, right? Like full up, economic shutdown, no one moves, everybody stays at home and things like that, because they know that right now it is no longer sustainable. You can do this for a month or two, but if this is going to drag out for a year or so, you cannot do this for too long, right? So therefore, I'm very happy because really the government is really coming to terms with the virus. Right? We are going to think of how to live with it instead of fighting it at all costs, okay? And this is something that I have been shouting and screaming at the social media and talking to all the business leaders. And I'm very glad that, I don't think the government saw my video and changed their mind, but I'm very glad that the government has really come to the same conclusion as we have, okay? And the second thing is, I think more countries out there are going to adopt very similar mindset, right? You can see that countries are opening up both in Europe, India as well, US as well, okay? Because really the lockdown needs to end someday, all right? And we cannot be in lockdown forever. So we need to think of better solutions to fight this virus in a way that we don't kill ourselves at the same time. Okay, so that's why this is good. Now, and the next thing is, I'm very glad that our Singapore government is really doing all they can, right? And they kind of say that they will do all they can to support us, all right? To support the economy. So this was what was mentioned. Overall, they had 4 successive budget, all right? We are pouring in about 100 billion Singapore dollars. That's 20% of our GDP, guys. That's not a small amount, all right? To give you a perspective, for example, the largest use of our GDP is defense. That's generally ranged from like 5 to 6%. And this is straight away 20% of our GDP, okay? So this is the largest, and I think government will likely do more should the situation get worse, all right? But they also talk about, this part of spending is hard to sustain. So that's why it really boils down to us living with the virus and not just fighting the virus at all costs. Now, with all this backdrop, all right, what is my conclusion so far, right? My conclusion is this. There is definitely going to be less physical movement moving forward, all right? And Prime Minister Lee has said this, right? He said that we're not going to return to the open economy anytime soon, all right? And movement is going to be more restricted, travel is going to be less frequent. Okay, he even specified industries that's going to be adversely affected, like aviation, hotel, and tourism. It's going to take a long time to get back on their feet, and they may never recover fully. All right, think about it. When would be a good time for you to travel again? When would you feel confident again to travel? Right? So recently we saw there was a big rally in the cruise liners, in the airliners, and things like that. I'm still quite pessimistic on those industry. I don't know how much they'll recover, and currently is rallying so fast that it looks a bit weird. So personally, I'm staying out of those industries. So for those of you who are investing in those stocks, just be very mindful, right? You are not chasing the FOMO, but you're investing logically. Okay, right? And the thing is, with less physical movement, we are going to definitely do more of what? We're going to go more digital. Okay, so one thing is that it's going to be more online interaction. I think that is for sure. In fact, we all have seen the benefit, all right, through this crisis. It actually gives us a lot of clarity on why remote working, online interaction, online classes like this is way more beneficial. Okay, so the thing is, I want to look for more channels, new channels, and Prime Minister had talked about this, right? He said some parts of the industry will shrink, some investment will shrink, all right, some flows will divert or dry up, but other new channels will open up, okay? And I don't know which channels he was talking about, he didn't mention them, but for me, these are my new channels that I'm looking at, okay? So I'm looking at the payment space, especially digital payment, all right, to curb the virus from spreading. Definitely handing each other pieces of money is not going to be that good a solution going forward. A lot of times payments, all right, cash is no longer going to be the main thing you do. This is going to be replaced by this, okay? So I'm really looking at payment space, and the next thing is definitely cybersecurity, right? If we are all going to be online, the security measures online needs to be tightened, and this is definitely one area that's going to really boom in my opinion. Okay, the next one is communications, right? How else can we communicate? Now, I think remote working is great. We have already discovered like what are the best ways to use Zoom or to use Skype or different other communication channels, but I think this communication platform can really go to the next level to really make it more enhanced, right? Like instead of me just talking to you on a camera like this, it could be a virtual experience. It could be an augmented reality experience. So communications technology is something I'm looking at as well. All right, the next one is digitalization of business, right? The government actually encourage all the businesses to be digitalized. All right, they are even digitalize the public sector as well. So with that, what is going to generate? When you digitize everything, what is going to be the main thing that you generate? You're going to generate a lot of data. All right, super huge amount of data is going to be generated from this, because when you're online, you're leaving footprints, you're leaving breadcrumbs everywhere. Okay, so this data is going to be truly valuable, and this data need to be managed. So I'm looking at companies that manage data, deals with data, all right, provide security for the data, and analyze the data, more importantly. Okay, then the last thing is, I think going forward also with logistics become more digitized, right, and more system digitized, and we are not going to meet each other to sign contracts and stuff. There's going to be a lot of electronic contract going on. Okay, so I think the blockchain will fit very nicely into this area. So I think we're likely to see more bloom of blockchain usage in this business. But I must admit, right, among all the channels, this is one channel that I'm not very sure how you can invest in them. So if you are any expert out there about blockchain, you know what is the upcoming trends and how we can invest in this technology, please let me know in the comments below. Okay, so yeah, Prime Minister talk about, we need to digitize both the private and public sector. All right, so that's one thing that I picked up from his speech. Okay, so all right, the last part. Okay, what is the last part? Okay, now let me just summarize very quickly, right? Is that new channels, business channels going to open, but I think really this current V-shaped recovery that we see, right, is kind of sustainable, right? It's kind of sustainable because think about all the consumer demand that has kind of ceased, and the moment the economy opens up, that is going to resume very quickly. All right. Although it's not going to be a physical one, it can be an online one. We're just going to purchase different things. Okay, so some business is going to continue to bloom, while some business is going to slowly die off. So it's just going to shift of economy. So I think this whole V-shaped recovery is kind of warranted, and I'm not exactly surprised. Okay, but however, do bear in mind, certain industries are still badly affected, and of course, an increasing market, right? Rising tides floats all boats, right? A rising market will increase all the stocks. So just be very mindful. What are the stocks you're investing in? Okay, but that brings me to my last part is this. My last part is really a message of inspiration, right? For everyone is really, please stay strong, but at the same time, evolve and be stronger. Okay, right? Because PM ended with this message, which I think was very good, right? Is that for our plan to succeed, our hopes to come true, we need the unity and resilience of our people. And resilience is really one thing that I've seen over and over again during this whole COVID crisis period, right? There are many people who buckle under stress and pressure, but many business people I've seen, I've interviewed, I've talked to them, they actually become even stronger. All right, they emerge from the danger and they created opportunities. Okay, so really, please, one message I want to give everyone out there is that no matter what you are doing, you can be an employee, you can be a business owner, you can be an entrepreneur, all right, or you can be an educator like me. Really evolve and thrive, all right, evolve and thrive and become even stronger. Okay, so this crisis is really an opportunity, and for myself, I was really forced to go online to do more, right? Last time I do a lot of physical classes, but right now I'm conducting online classes, right? This weekend, next weekend, I'm doing online classes. And really, it was uncomfortable at first, right? The transition was tough, but we got through it, right? As a company, we got through it. And I just want to use this as an encouragement to everyone out there. If you're going through the same process, don't give up, all right? Don't give up. Continue to work on it. I really think going online will be the next big thing, okay? And the cool thing is that you can arm yourself with new skills. For example, learn digital marketing, which I'm doing right now. All right, learn how to create online content, learn how to sell online. All right, because for example, right now, really after I talked to my guest in the last interview, right, it is really one of the best time to start a business. Okay, why? Because these days you can get everything you need to start a business. For example, from Shopify, right, at just $29 a month. Okay, in the past you probably need a shop, you need to hire people, you need logistics and stuff, but right now everything can be done through a platform like Shopify for just a cool $29 a month, right? The risk is really low, but the reward is great. Okay, so please go out there and if you can, start a business for yourself if you have never tried. Okay, all right. So I want to end off with this inspiration is that last week I actually interviewed my first series of the business leader interview. All right, it's actually a couple who did 7 figures of e-commerce, and this year was actually their crazy year. I think they will really hit the new high because in May, all right, listen carefully, guys. In May, they tripled their sales. Okay, let me say this carefully. In May, they tripled their sales. So this is really the power of online sales. And if you have never explored online, please go watch the video. I'm sure either you are an investor or business owner, there are a lot to learn from this interview. Okay, so for those of you, I just want to end off with this. If you want to keep updated with all the content that I'm pushing out, be it interview, be it investment ideas, all right, how to follow all my new updates, all right. Other than on Facebook, the best way really is to join my mailing list, okay? So if you're on my mailing list, this is the URL, tinyurl.com/mailwithpete, okay? So when you go to that, all right, you can immediately sign up for my mailing list, and then each time when I push out new content, a new interview, you'll receive it, okay? In fact, next Monday, I'm interviewing another e-commerce giant. Okay, that's going to cap off my e-commerce series. And he's a serial entrepreneur. And this year alone, his business is targeted to hit $20 million US dollars. All right, $20 million US dollars in sales. Okay, so if you want to know what are the secrets behind a successful business like this, all right, and you want to know what are the investment ideas I can get out of him, do join me next week for that interview. Okay, if not, I hope you guys learned a lot from this sharing about the Prime Minister's speech. Let me know what are your comments below. Let me know what are the things you want me to talk about next time. And I'll see you at the next video. Bye-bye.